Okay, I can see our attendees. Right, we're going to start then. So hello there, incredible ladies. I would like to officially welcome everybody to this Thrivherclass. I'm Julia, the creator of Thrivers, and this is really exciting because it's the first workshop of the month where we get to check into our wellness, which is so important. To live a thriving life, it starts with being well. So I want to congratulate everyone that's here for choosing to invest in yourselves today. It's brilliant. So Thrivers was created to inspire and empower women to live the life they want. So when I see women taking action on the lives that they want and believing in themselves, it really does drive me to keep building this amazing community. There are a couple of newbies here, so welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. That's amazing. If you're new to Thrivers, we have inspiring interviews where we interview successful women and really understand the practical steps that they took to become successful. So if you need an injection of inspiration, head there to thrivers.com and check them out. And on the other side, we have these Thriver classes in wellness, wealth, and work to empower you in all three, because they're very important elements of our lives. So today, before I introduce the amazing Brittany Cook, there are a couple of things I just want to check with everyone. So have you all got some candles and creating some ambience for this session? Because this is about being quiet and getting central. As you can see, I've got my candle behind me, just trying to get in the zone. And so I just love to hear where some of you are calling from and to make sure that you can use this platform okay. So at the bottom of the screen, we have a little chat icon. And if you ever want to write something and so everyone can see it, feel free to chat. And I can see you've just got a little message. Oh, so yes, good morning from Butley in the UK. Hi UK. And there's also a Q&A icon at the bottom. If you click on that, so during the session, to really get the most out of it, if you've got any questions whatsoever for Brittany, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A. There's even an option, if you click on it, you can just try it out. And there's a little anonymous box. We're not going to say any names anyway, but if that makes you feel more safe and secure about asking your questions, there's absolutely no judgment here. We just want to make sure that you get the most out of this session. Okay, so have you got anyone else who's brave enough to say hi? Just say hi, or tell us if you've got some candles lit, if you've got some ambience, maybe you've got some music going. Someone says good day. That's very Australian. Okay, we've got someone from Sydney, we've got someone from New Zealand. Okay, that's awesome. Well, I know a few of you can use the chat and the Q&A. So I'm going to introduce the amazing Brittany Cook. Now, just when I was looking for an expert, I have to tell you all that someone suggested you have to talk to Brittany because she's amazing and she's an acupuncturist. And I was thinking, I'm just not sure what an acupuncturist can do in an online private class. But then I talked to Brittany and she told me all the amazing things about an integrative medicine, which I didn't even know. And when she told me what we could do naturally, I thought that's going to be a really empowering workshop to do. So Brittany is a professional acupuncturist and a herbalist and has her own practice here in Sydney called the Acupuncture Room. So for those of you who are in Sydney, I'm going to be putting links up in case you want to reach out to her. Someone's just asked me where my wine is. Well, maybe after this session, that will definitely chill me out a bit. It's probably a bit early right now. More about herbal teas today, I've been told. So, yeah, so welcome, Brittany, to the session. Welcome to our Thriver class.
Hi, Julia. Thank you for that great introduction. And I'm really happy to be here today.
Could you tell us a little bit about the work you do and the Acupuncture Room?
Yeah, absolutely. So my clinic is based in Castle Hill. I'm a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. So what that means is I'm an acupuncturist, but I'm also a herbalist as well. So I see a range of different conditions from women's health, musculoskeletal disorders, digestive disorders. It's very encompassing what I do.
That sounds amazing. And when we were talking about what kind of session we could do today for this Thriver class, you were telling me all about how we can de-stress instantly, naturally, through integrative medicine, instead of going for that automatic reaching for the pharmaceuticals, which I thought was really interesting. So can you tell us a little bit about, for those who don't know, about integrative medicine? Because I'm quite new to it itself, so I find it really intriguing.
Yeah, absolutely. So integrative medicine, it's taking two different concepts and putting them together. So traditionally there's Western medicine. So that's, your local GPs that you go to and they'll provide you with pharmaceutical medication. Then you've got alternative practitioners like myself who practice acupuncture. You might go to a naturopath, somebody in the holistic hemisphere of health. So integrative medicine, it's not picking one or picking the other. It's about using the two in combination together with each other. Because, power in numbers really with our health. Western medicine is really great for treating some things and alternative medicine is really great for treating other things. But when you put together and you integrate them, it's really powerful.
Okay, brilliant. So we're going to be seeing a little taster of that today. Before I hand over to Brittany for this session, I just want to say again, if anyone's got any questions during the session, just feel free to put them in the Q&A or the chat, and we'll answer them as we go along, just to make sure you get the most out of the session. Okay, over to you, Brittany.
Thank you so much. So ladies, today I'm going to go through and talk about a couple of different things. We're going to start off with a self-guided acupressure massage. Then we're going to go through and do a breathing exercise. Then towards the end, we're going to go through a herbal tea recipe that I've put together for you. So to start off, as Julia said, we won't be doing any acupuncture today. It's a little bit hard to do this over the camera. So we're going to do some acupressure. So the difference between acupuncture and acupressure is we won't be piercing the skin. So instead of inserting a needle into the skin, what we do is apply pressure to the point. So it's just like a nice massage, but on specific points in the body that will achieve a specific outcome. So the first acupuncture point today that we're going to talk about, it's called large intestine 4. Now, large intestine 4, that's the Western name for it. In Chinese medicine, it's called Hegu, and that translates in English to Union Valley. So Union Valley, Hegu, or large intestine 4, it's located so on the hand. The way that we find it, so just here, the way that we locate large intestine 4 is by holding our hands together like this, and the highest point in the thumb, that's where the point is. So what we want to do is press down on that point and give it a nice massage. So you might find it easier to use your thumb. Sorry, I'm just a little bit backwards with the camera. So holding down on that point. Now, when you press, it might feel quite tender. That's okay. That's the point that you really want to press in. So rub small circles on this area for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. What this point is really great for is headaches. So when you're at work and you're under the pump and you've got lots of different things to do and you've got a really nagging headache and you don't have time to deal with it, large intestine 4 is a fantastic point to help relieve this headache. So again, just pinching down on that highest point in the hand and rubbing small circles for 30 seconds to 2 minutes on that area. So once you've done that, repeat it on the other side. What I recommend is holding down that point and massaging until the headache goes away. Nicholas, I'm really glad that feels good. If it doesn't feel good and it is a bit tender, as I said, just keep pressing down. Generally, we say in Chinese medicine that if the point is tender, that it needs massaging. So continue to massage it until you feel like your headache symptoms will start to resolve. So this point is also really great for anything in the upper body. So in Chinese medicine, we call it the upper jiao. So anything to do with the mouth, teeth, jaw, like toothaches, hay fever, eye problems. This point is really great for anything here and above. Okay, now the next point that we're going to do today, it's called pericardium 6. Sorry, before we move on to the next point, did anyone have any questions about that acupressure point?
No. I just
Yep.
have one quick one. So is it best to hold it here instead of putting it on a flat table and doing it from the top? Like, here? Is it good to do it from the front?
No, I'm just showing you for the purpose of you being able to see my hand, but it's probably better if you've got it just relaxing on a surface, because you're probably already so tense and tight. We just want to be as relaxed as possible. So if you hold your hand on the table and just rest it there and then massage it that way.
Okay.
And sorry, Nicholas, your question only the left hand. No, you can start off with either the left or right. It doesn't matter which one you start with, but I'd encourage you to massage both. Okay, so if there's no other questions, then we'll move on to the next point. So the next point is called pericardium 6. The Chinese name is Ni Guan, and that translates into English as inner gate. So to find this point, it's located on the wrist. So it's on the inside, or maybe I'll show you this on the inside of the wrist. The way that we locate this is we use 3 fingers and hold it in line with the top of the wrist, just like this. And then right at the bottom of the 3rd finger is where the point is. So right here. Now you'll feel, if you push hard enough, that there's 2 tendons either side. We want to be pushing right in between those 2 tendons. So again, 3 fingers down from the wrist, and it's almost in the center between the 2 tendons. So you can use your thumb to push down on that point. And again, it might feel a little bit tender, but that's okay. Continue to push it. And you want to rub small circles on this area for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Now, what this point is really, really great for is opening up the chest. So the name of the point, as I said, was pericardium 6. And as we know, the pericardium, it encases the heart. The heart is located in our chest. So this is a really great distal point for opening up the chest. It's really great for palpitations, nervousness, and stress. So sometimes when we're at work and we find ourselves getting quite anxious and breathing starts to increase and we want to bring that back down, what you want to do is massage pericardium 6. Does anybody have any questions about that point?
How long do you recommend doing that until you should expect to feel some kind of de-stress and calm?
I recommend massaging for about 2 minutes each side, so 4 minutes in total.
Okay.
And yes, both wrists we do. So all points on the body are they're bilateral, so they're on both sides. It's like a mirror. So when you do one side, we always do the other side as well. So we did before and this side as well.
And how, in terms of pressure, like how hard should we go?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Julia. So don't push so hard that it hurts you, but you want to be pushing fairly firm so that it is making a bit of a dent into the skin. But you don't want to, just don't hurt yourself. So nice firm pressure, and you might feel a little bit of discomfort, but that's okay. Maybe a little bit of a fun fact about this point. Pericardium 6, some people might be familiar with seasickness bands. So with seasickness bands or pressure bands, they go on this point on here. So this point is also really great for nausea. So this point I use a lot in pregnancy, so women with morning sickness. It's a really great point for nausea as well. But for the purpose of today's talk, we use it to treat the chest. Okay, so the next acupuncture point, acupressure point, I apologize, that we'll be doing is called gallbladder 20. So gallbladder 20, in Chinese, it's called Feng Qi, but it translates into English to wind pool. So this point, I'm going to have to describe to you because it is behind the head. If it does get a little bit confusing, I can try and show you from behind. So for now, I'm just going to try and explain it to you. So right at the base of the skull, in between the ears and the spine, so we're in that middle section there, you want to be right at the base of the skull. So that's called the occiput. When you run your fingers in between your ears to the skull, maybe a quarter of the way between or halfway between, you'll feel a divot. So right at the base of the skull and in between the ears and the spine, it divots inwards. So that's gallbladder 20. If anyone gets a little bit confused, I've put some notes together for you with some pictures and some descriptions, and also some explanation of how to massage these points. So if you don't quite get where the points are, then the pictures will be able to help you. So with gallbladder 20, I like to use my thumbs. I find it easy to sort of hook up into the bottom of the neck. So again, this point might feel a little bit tender. I know that it does for me standing and massaging. I always feel a little bit tense in my neck, and I'm sure, you know, a lot of us sitting at desks with shoulder tension and bits and pieces, this will be a little bit tender. So in this point, I want you to, again, press in, gently apply some pressure, but just enough pressure that you can feel it to be slightly uncomfortable. Now rub small circles on this area for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Hopefully everybody's getting that, and I've explained that. So this point is really, really great for headaches. So an easy way to locate this point is if you do have a headache and you can feel like this really tension pulling on the base of the neck, apply pressure, just enough pressure that it's not hurting you, but it's enough that you can feel like it's stimulating that point in the muscle, and just little circles. You can do it for 30 seconds to 2 minutes, but you can do it for longer if you feel like it feels nice. You can do it for less if you feel like it is too strong. There is a lot of tension that can be held at this point. You have a lot of different muscles and attachments at the back of the neck, so it might feel a bit tender for some people. Does anybody have any questions about the location of that point or how to find it?
Can I just ask, are you using like your thumbs like this way up, or this way, like this?
So I'm holding my hands like this.
Oh, okay.
And using my thumbs to go upwards.
Right. Okay. And then circular.
Yes, like little circles around the base of the neck. So I'm going almost around like this. And I'm just using these fingers to support the back of my neck so I can do the circle.
Okay. And so do you have to remember things for your posture when you're doing this? Because I kind of want to go like this, but is it important to keep your posture straight, like really up?
Yeah, of course. So that's a really good question, Julia. So you want to be comfortable in your chair. So it's probably easier to do this one sitting down, but just trying to keep your back as straight as possible because that encourages good breathing practice. And just trying to keep your arms back as well instead of hunched over. So the good thing with this point as well is we can do both at the same time. It doesn't have to be just one side and one side.
If it feels painful, should you use less pressure or just keep doing it, and will it get less painful, or what should we expect? Because I can feel it's a little bit painful as well. I don't know if it's like the tension.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the same for me. As well as I'm sure there's a couple of you out there that might feel it's a bit tender too. Just back off a little bit. Don't push too hard because then you might aggravate the headache. But you want to keep massaging it. Eventually the pain should decrease and it should go away. So when there is pain at a point, it just means that point it's active. And so we want to try and deactivate it as much as possible. And we do that through the massage. So just to recap, that point was really, really good for headaches, especially headaches that are located around this sort of area. So the point, the gallbladder channel, it comes from the back of the neck and up and around the ear. So when you're applying pressure, if you are feeling some sort of referring sensation through, that's normal.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else is anyone else feeling anything? Because my head actually feels lighter now I've done that. I
Mm.
think,
Yeah,
especially
I
when you,
find this one to be a really, really effective.
yeah, wow, that's really cool. How does anyone else feel? Has anyone else got any questions, or are they feeling relaxed? I feel like I could just lie down right now.
I know, me too. But it's somebody's coming from the UK and it's the morning over there. I tell you, it's nighttime here, and I am ready for sleep almost after doing this one. It's really nice and soothing. But we've got a really nice uplifting tea coming up, so we've got that to look forward to.
Yeah, brilliant.
Can't type. I'm massaging myself. Thank you, Nicholas.
Uh, oh, good. I'm glad it feels nice, Verna. Yeah, I think once you've done this for a while, if you just maybe if you've got time at work, I mean, even if you're at home to go through, you went through all these different spots one after the other, giving each one a minute, you'd feel quite, I already feel quite calm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't have to do, you can do all of these points in one session. So you could almost turn it into a bit of a routine. You could start with the hands, you could move up to the wrist, then you could do the back of the neck, and then we can do the next point, which is in the ears, which I'll explain to you about. So you can do that as a like a little massage routine for yourself, because what it'll be doing is it can be treating any headaches or any tension that you've got at work. It can be treating any breathing issues that you've got, any sort of anxiety, any chest tightness. And the next point is really, really great for alleviating anxiety and any sort of stress that you're presenting with. So the points can be used on their own. So for example, the headache ones are really, really great to use on their own. So that was the large intestine 4, this one here, and gallbladder 20, which is this one at the back. So they're really great to use on their own. But for the others, you can use them as a part of a routine if you like.
Brilliant.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any of the points that we've done so far?
I know a couple of people have just come in a little bit late. Just to let you know, we video the whole session, so you will get access to this after the session's over, so you can go through it again. And also, as Brittany said, she's going to supply a PDF with also that goes through all the the places to massage and everything that she's covered today, to make sure you can go away and do it as well.
Okay. So just to do a quick recap for those that have just chimed in, we're starting off with a self-guided acupressure massage. I'm just going through some points that are really great for helping to de-stress in the workplace. So headaches are a common thing that we come up with. So we've gone through some points that are really great for headaches. Chest tightness, anxiety, palpitations. We've gone through a point that helps with that. We've gone through another point that's really great for headache also. Alrighty, so the last point that we're going to do today, this one's a little bit of a different one. So the points that we've chosen so far, they're traditional acupuncture points. So with when we diagnose in Chinese medicine, we use, and this is going back a little bit to integrative medicine, and where using the 2 is really great instead of using one or the other. So in Western medicine, they put a name on a disorder, and that's it. So say, for example, you have a headache. This is a perfect example. They might tell you to take a Panadol or a Nurofen or something like that. The way that we diagnose in Chinese medicine is we go, okay, what's causing this headache? In Western medicine, there's only sort of, I shouldn't say there's one cause, but they'll just call it a headache. In Chinese medicine, we will go a little bit further and go, okay, is the headache, is it a liver issue? Is it a heart issue? So the way that we diagnose is by looking at different organs. And so different organs in our body and the energetics are responsible for different functions. So for example, the liver is a classic example. The liver is responsible for the free circulation of energy through our body. When we become really, really stressed and anxious, our energy will almost freeze up and tense up. And that's why we feel really tense, is because everything's become stuck in the body and the liver isn't circulating properly. So what we would do is we do some points on the liver channel to try and help relieve that headache. Or for example, it might be a deficiency of the heart. So say for example, you've just gone through a really sad event and your heart chi is deficient. You might not have enough energy in the body, and so then you might get a bit of a headache. So really depending on what you're presenting with, and we put together an organ diagnosis and then we pick the points accordingly. So the points that I've picked today is a really great variety of different points and different that will cover all different types of diagnoses. But what I was getting to with that is those first 3 points that we've done, they are all from the traditional acupuncture channels for organ diagnosis. The point that we're going to do now, it's located on the ear. So we call it auricular acupuncture, auricular being the ear. So with that, it's like a microsystem. So we have this tiny little ear, but different points on the ear will correspond with different things on the body. So the point on the ear, it's called Shen Men because it doesn't have an organ associated with it. It's just a standalone point. So Shen Men in English, it translates to heavenly gate. And this point is, I'm sure a lot of acupuncturists out there would agree with me, it's a go-to point for calming the mind. Now, it's located in the ear. Now, I wish, I don't know, maybe if I scooch a little bit closer to the camera, hopefully my ears are nice and clean for you to be able to see this. So it's located in what's called the triangular fossa. So you can see, I can't seem to find my pen. So it looks like a little triangle, which is located right here. So the point is right in, it's called the apex of the ear. So in the notes, you'll be able to see I've put a photo of an ear and put a little red circle around it. So it looks like a little triangle. So this point in the ear right here. So that point is called Shen Men. It's really great for alleviating stress, fear, and anxiety. And it helps to regulate the sympathetic nervous system. So it's really great for just slowing everything down, which is exactly what you need when you're really stressed, really anxious, and under the pump at work. It's a really easy point to massage, and you can do both sides at the same time. So you can use either your index finger and your thumb to massage, or you can flip the other way around if you find it easier with your thumb to pinch. So what you want to do is just form this sort of pinching motion with your fingers on that end of the little triangle in the ear, and we want to give that a nice massage. So we're rubbing small circles on this area for 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and this point's really great for just accessing the mind, calming everything down. This one you won't find is particularly tender like the other ones. For my clients, if we don't needle this point, we have these little, they're called ear seeds. And so sometimes it's a tiny little needle, or it might be a mustard seed on the back of an adhesive band-aid. And we stick them on these points and they just stay on during the day. So the points are constantly being stimulated away from the session. So what you can do instead is just massage the point. Now you can't overdo this point. Just whenever you're feeling like you are a little bit stressed, trying to calm down a little bit, you can do it wherever you want during the day. It's fairly discreet, just a couple of seconds, 30 seconds. And that's it. No one will be any the wiser. So does anybody have any questions about that point? It's a little bit, sorry, it's been a bit difficult for me to try and explain where it is, but as I said, I've supplied some notes for you, so you'll be able to see where that point's located.
Yeah, I didn't know that would calm you down at all. I don't know how many people, I've never actually been to an acupuncturist, so it's all brand new to me on these points, but I definitely am feeling really relaxed just from doing a little bit of these pressure points. So I don't know, how's anyone else? Is anyone else feeling a sense of relaxation right now? Everyone's probably just
half asleep.
Yeah.
I know sometimes I laugh and think that I have the best job in the world. I get to, do relaxing things like this. I get to play relaxing music. I don't know if you can see, I've got my little diffuser up the top there with some oils diffusing. It's a pretty good job. I'd say it could be worse.
Yeah. Just getting calm and clear every day.
Okay, Verna. So Verna's asked a question. I quite often feel angry at work. Is the ear point the best one to do? So let's have a look at the other points that we've gone through today. That's a really good question. So in Chinese medicine, we say that when you become really angry, that your yang rises. So everything will feel like it's rising upwards. So you might get like a hot flush face. You become really tense in the neck and shoulders. So if you do start to feel quite angry and tense, I'd say gallbladder 20 would be a really, really great point for pacifying that yang, and also to try and just relax the muscles. But the Shen Men, that's a really great point as well to help with that anger, because what this point does is it calms the mind. So happy thoughts, massaging this point. So Shen Men and gallbladder 20 would be really, really great for you. That's okay.
Yeah, I found that back one really, and even the front of my face felt like it was relaxed.
That's probably one of my favorite acupuncture points, gallbladder 20, but large intestine 4 as well, probably because I'm massaging all the time. But some people, a lot of us, texting or typing on the computer, we build up a lot of tension in this point. So it can be really quite tender when you are massaging it. Don't let that discern you. Don't let that worry you. Just keep applying pressure, and eventually you should feel that muscle release. One thing with that point though, if you are pregnant, you shouldn't be massaging it. So this point is used a lot for labor, for helping women through labor. So if you are pregnant, we don't want to bring that on early. So we'll just avoid that point altogether. So women who are pregnant, don't do this point. Okay, now that is...
Brittany, if they are pregnant, is that just because they're going to be ultra relaxed? Just in case we have some pregnant women?
Because the baby will fall out.
Yeah, just in case anyone's nervous, because just want to make sure we're all okay here.
Yeah, no. So it's a very strong moving point. So for headaches, when everything becomes really stuck, we want everything to be moving. So this point is a really great moving point. Just massaging it now is okay, but you just don't want to be constantly doing it all the time while you're pregnant. Okay, so just to be on the safer side of caution, we'll just steer clear of doing this point. Okay, so does anybody have any other questions about acupressure or the massage that we've done before we move on to the next session?
And there is just to check, there isn't, you can't can you overstimulate any of these points? There's ones that you just shouldn't do for too long, or yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good question. Just listen to your body. If you feel like a point is overly tender, then I'd recommend just back off a little bit and only massage it and apply pressure that's comfortable for you. It's not a case of the harder that you push, the better that it is. It's definitely not the case. It's just at a comfortable pressure for you. Now, there's no points that you can overdo. It's not like sort of taking medicine. You can't overdose on acupressure, which is fantastic. So just really applying it maybe 2 to 3 times a day, or in situations where you feel like you definitely need it. But applying pressure to these points of a nighttime before bed is a really nice way to sort of wind down as well. They're really great to be used in the workplace, but at home after a really stressful day, it's great to help wind down as well.
And what, say if you're at work and you're trying to get rid of a headache, and how long should you give it until you feel like maybe it's not going away, or like how many like sessions of the massage should you do until you think, okay, I need something else, just to see how long we need to give it a go?
Yeah, okay, that's another really good question. So, I mean, there's a couple of different factors that will come into play. I mean, try and drink as much water as you possibly can if you do have a headache. It depends what the headache is coming from as well. If you're finding that your computer screen's too bright, maybe try to turn that down. Try and clear some triggers out of the way that might be causing the headache. But if you can't, then applying pressure to these points, I try and continue to do it for an hour. Now, don't massage the points continuously for an hour. I don't think that our bosses will let us sit there for an hour and massage ourselves, as nice as that would be. Maybe we could pop out and get somebody else to do it for us. But massage the points for about 2 minutes, and do that off and on for about an hour. And if you're finding that the headache isn't subsiding, then I'd recommend looking into another option to try and relieve the headache.
Okay, great.
Okay, so now on to the next section. So we're going to go through a breathing exercise together. So breathing is really important.
Oh, sorry, Brittany, can we just ask you one more question? Sorry, I just missed a question.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's okay.
What about, someone's asked about migraines during pregnancy.
Okay.
Is there anything we can do for that?
That's a little bit of a hard one. I definitely need some more information about that one. There's lots of different factors that come into play. Was she having migraines before the pregnancy? Have they only started during the pregnancy? What other symptoms is she getting? If this person wanted to send me an email at the end, I'd be happy to answer any questions. On the worksheet that I've handed out is my email address. So if you had any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. It's just a little bit hard to give a general diagnosis without knowing all of the other factors that are coming into account.
Yeah, brilliant. I'll put your email address in the chat there, Brittany. So if any questions come up, they'd rather contact you directly.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. Thank you. Sorry, you can. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, do keep them coming. That's really good.
Okay, so now onto the breathing exercise. So this breathing technique, it's called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. So it's a natural tranquilizer for the nervous system. So when we're at work, sometimes we're in stressful situations and we find ourselves becoming a little panicky, a little erratic. Our breathing is going a little bit out of whack. So the easiest way to try and calm that down, and one of the really basic ones, you don't need anything. All you need to do is just sit there, get nice and comfortable. It's better to do it sitting in a chair instead of standing up. You still want to maintain a good posture, so sitting up straight, shoulders back, but still trying to be comfortable and relaxed as well. So don't sit there super rigid, probably already rigid enough. So just nice and comfortable in the chair, shoulders back, sitting up nice and straight. So I'm going to walk you through the steps first, and then I'm going to get you all to follow me through. So the first step, we want to exhale completely all of the air out of our body, and we want to make a whooshing sort of sound. So once we've exhaled all of that oxygen out, what we want to do is close our mouth, and through our nose, we want to breathe into 4. So in for 4. After that, what we want to do is we want to hold our breath for 7 seconds. And then after that 7 seconds, what we want to do is that whooshing out for 8 seconds. So it'll be inhale for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. So what this does is it slows down our breathing. It'll slow down the nervous system as well. So it'll help to relax us. So once we've done the in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8, that's counted as 1 breath. So what we want to do is we want to repeat that cycle 3 more times for a total of 4 breaths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exercise, and I want everyone to follow along with me, okay? All right. Does anyone have any questions before we get started?
I think we're good.
No? Okay, fantastic. So everyone just sitting nice and comfortable for me, making sure you're still sitting up straight, shoulders back, but nice and comfortable for me. Okay, so just a quick recap. So exhaling out, in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. So on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Then inhaling for 4. Hold for 7. And out for 8. And again. In again. And hold. And out. Last time, in. And out. And that's it.
Oh.
So by the end of that, you should be feeling much more relaxed. You should feel like everything's slowed down. Your breathing should be slower, but your posture should feel a lot looser as well. So that point is really great for slowing down and tranquilizing the nervous system. And it is inhale for 4, holding your breath for 7, and then exhaling for 8. Does anybody have any questions about that one?
I know, I just feel, yeah, super relaxed. That with the massage and
Yeah, so the breathing exercise, I personally like to use it overnight time. I find that it helps me shut down from thinking about other things because I'm counting. And it slows everything down, so it gets me ready for sleep. But it's perfect for using in the workplace when you're just feeling like you're not able to finish tasks because you've got so many thoughts going through your brain. You can't concentrate. You're feeling really anxious. So just stopping for a second, taking a couple of minutes to take a few breaths. It just helps you to rebalance and get on with the task at hand.
that's really good.
Okay, so we've started with the self-guided acupressure massage. We've gone through the breathing exercise. The last thing that I've got for you all today is the herbal tea. So I've put together a little recipe for you. It's using 2 Chinese herbs. With Chinese herbs, it's quite funny. We have lots at home in our kitchens, which we don't realize are really great as they're traditional Chinese herbs. The first herb that I've got here for you is, I don't know if you can see, goji berries. We know them as goji berries. In Chinese medicine, it's pronounced go cheesy, and these ones are dried. So we've got some little goji berries. This recipe, it doesn't have a name. It's just a couple of herbs that I've put together. So the second herbs that we've got, they're Chinese rosebuds. So these ones are really, really pretty. They're just pink rosebuds.
And where can you buy the rosebuds from? Sorry, Brittany.
Where can you find them from? Just a local Chinese grocer. Okay. They should have both of these items in there. So with both of these herbs, they're really great qi tonifiers. So I thought maybe of giving you a tea to help calm you and relax you, but we don't want to be too relaxed when we're at work, right? We still need to get the job done. So this tea is a really, really great nourishing and uplifting tea. So after we're feeling really anxious, really nervous, really tense, we need something to just give us a boost after we've done our breathing exercises, after we've done our massage. We need something to help us uplift. So this tea is really perfect for that. So it's a really, really simple recipe. So you've got the goji berries and we've got the rosebuds. So we also need some hot water. So the equipment, we need obviously a kettle to boil the water. We need a mug to pour the tea into. I like to use a diffuser as well. So this is just one that I've prepared. Oh, whoops, I spilled it. Oh no. So it's a bit of a blooper, wasn't it? Okay, so I like to use a diffuser because it keeps the herbs separate. You don't have to use a diffuser though. You can just pop the herbs straight into the mug. So with the water, what you want to do is boil it to 100 degrees. It doesn't have to be exactly 100 degrees, but that's the preferred, the recommendation. You don't want it to be so hot that it scorches the herbs. So if you find that you've got a really hot kettle, maybe just flick the button off before it reaches boiling point. Okay, so what you want to do, if you've got a diffuser, 1 teaspoon of the goji berries and 2 teaspoons of the rosebuds. So put that into the diffuser, a cup of boiling water, and we like that to brew for about 3 to 5 minutes. Once you've finished brewing it, if you've got a diffuser like mine, you can pop a mug underneath, and then the tea is ready just like that. So you can see it's a nice sort of yellow color, and it's a really, really sweet tea. So it's not bitter. It's a really, really yummy tea to drink, especially if you've got a bit of a sweet tooth. Now, don't stress if you don't have a diffuser. You don't have to separate them. It just makes it a little bit easier to drink. So if you've got if you don't have the diffuser, you can put the herbs directly into the mug and you can add the water. You cannot eat the rosebuds, so please don't eat the rosebuds, but you can eat the goji berries. They're really yummy. And when you buy them, so they'll come in this sort of dried form, and you can eat them like that. But once they've been diffusing in the water, they become a lot plumper, and so you can eat them. They're a yummy little, it's almost like a snack and a tea in one, so 2 for 1. But yeah, that tea, it's a really, really great tonifying, nourishing tea, and it's really pretty tea as well. I think that's all I can tell you about the tea. Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
we've got a question. How many times can you like reuse it if you've gone through? Can you keep pouring boiling water on it and using it for multiple
Yeah,
times?
yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So you could probably use with that ratio, which was 1 teaspoon of goji berries and 2 teaspoons of rosebuds. You could probably reuse that another 1 to 2 times. So you could put another cup in, that's if it's in the diffuser. So you could put another cup in, let it simmer, drink the cup, and then add the hot water again and drink it again. So you could probably get 3 uses out of it. But then anything after that, you'll be losing a lot of the flavor and a lot of the goodness out of those herbs. So what you can do is add the same amount in again. You don't have to throw out the old ones that you used. Obviously, if it's the next day, you know, at the end of the day, you want to throw everything in the bin. But if you want to keep adding to it through the day, you can. So start out with your first mix. You can brew it 2 to 3 times, and then you can add the ingredients in again and start all over again because it will continuously dilute.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. I am definitely going to try that.
Mm-hmm.
I've read a lot of things about goji berries actually with health properties. So it's interesting you can make a tea out of it.
Yeah, no, it's one of those foods that's become a bit of a you know, one of those superfood uh, fads, but it's actually the Chinese have been using it as a herbal medicine for its herbal properties for thousands of years. It's a really, really great all around balancing herb. So yes, definitely a superfood, but definitely not a fad.
Someone's just said, I know we just had a tea for uplifting, but what do you recommend for a relaxing tea?
Yeah, chamomile. Chamomile all the way is a really, really great soothing and relaxing tea. And it's very accessible as well.
So you think just the tea bags you can buy in the shop are fine, or is there another more natural?
No, I'd recommend like going organic, an organic tea. My personal favorite tea is Puka tea. They have some really great responsibly sourced tea brands as well. Not tea brands, sorry, tea flavors. But they have a really nice chamomile blend in there. That's my favorite.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, does anyone else have any questions about the massage or the breathing or the tea? Is everyone feeling nice and relaxed and ready for bed or ready for the morning? Is there any like types of massage you do that does the opposite of to make you feel more awake?
Oh, that's a good question. To feel more awake. So I can think of a point off the top of my head. It's right at the base of the nose, and it's called the revival point. I remember back when I was studying, my lecturer told us a funny story. It's called the revival point. So if you're ever at, you know, a party and somebody was passed out, that you'd poke them under the nose and it should wake them up. I probably wouldn't recommend doing that at a party, but this point here, it's right at the base of the nose, in between the two nostrils. You can apply pressure to there, and it's really great for drawing energy upwards and making you feel more awake. The only thing with that though is when you're feeling really anxious and really stressed, you have a lot of rising yang energy, so you don't want to draw too much up to the head. There are a couple of great points on the feet, which are really great for sedating yang energy. I'm not going to try and pull my foot up onto the screen, but if anyone has a pen and paper, if they wanted to write down liver 3, actually maybe I can try and write a little message. Liver 3. All right. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Liver 3? Okay, perfect. So I've just written in the little chat area. If you Google that acupuncture point liver 3, it's located on the foot. you can massage that point, and it's really great for sedating the yang. The liver, as I said before, is responsible for the free circulation of energy through our body. So if you are feeling really, really stressed, liver 3 is the go-to point for trying to anchor that down and get everything circulating again, so then you can go back to, you know, your normal daily life. With massaging that point as well, it's just the same as the other point. So little small circles on the area, applying just enough pressure that it's not hurting you, but you can feel like you know, you are activating the point, and doing it for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes.
Brilliant. That's so interesting. And I really love what you're talking about, how, you know, with the integrative medicine or Chinese medicine, they look at the whole holistic reason, not just one element. Looking at, like you were saying about, is it the liver or the heart? You were saying could be because of some kind of tragedy in your life. What tends to be the liver? Could it be that recently, you know, you've had a bad diet, or are there things that we can think back ourselves and go, okay, is it due to this or this, to know which elements we need to be treating or need attention?
It's when I say an organ diagnosis, try not to think of the physiological understanding of it. So say, for example, if it was a stomach issue, don't think that, you know, you've got an upset stomach or you've got a stomach bug, or if it's a liver issue that, you know, somebody's a chronic alcoholic. Like, it's not the physiological function of it, it's the energetic function. So don't get caught up thinking that don't get tricked into thinking that that's how it works. It's a little bit hard to understand, but it's more the energetic sense. So a really simple example would probably be if you have more anger in your life, if you tend to, when you deal with a situation and you become really angry and really fire and really hot, it would be more a liver issue. So you'd have a bit more liver qi stagnation is what we'd call it. So massaging the liver point on the foot that I was just telling you about, liver 3, that would be really fantastic. And the point at the bottom of the skull, gallbladder 20, gallbladder and the liver are partners. So it's often those two will have issues together at simultaneously at the same time. So when we treat a liver issue, we have an issue. So what you want to do is massage that point as well. If you are tending to be more sad when you deal with a situation and more of an introvert instead of really hot and fiery like a liver person would, you'd want to treat the heart. So the heart is more sort of sensitive to emotions. So treating the point that encases the heart, which is the pericardium, that one would be really great. And the Shenmen, that one's really great as well. So if you find that you're more angry, you want to go for the liver point and the gallbladder point. But if you find that you're a little bit more sad and a bit more of an introvert, and you want to go for the pericardium and the Shenmen point.
That's so interesting. I think that's all we've got time for. And I've just put the acupuncture room. And would you recommend, I mean, that obviously where an acupuncturist could come in and to diagnose which areas and talk about the problem, to have a deeper understanding of how you can treat it.
Sorry, so repeat the question again.
I was just saying, and if people want to understand, you know, that's where acupuncture plays a part, or you can go and see your local acupuncture.
Yeah, absolutely. So acupuncture is a really great, it can be used in combination with like a Western approach because it doesn't involve taking internal medicine. So Chinese medicine practitioners do offer herbal medicine, but the great thing about acupuncture is that you don't have to take anything. So for example, irritable bowel syndrome is a massive one that Western medicine will struggle to treat. They might be able to give you some medication, but you'll find that your stomach lining will be irritable, so you don't really want to put anything in. Acupuncture is a really, really great alternative for that. So that's a classic example of Western and Eastern being able to integrate together.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I've put your website up there. Thank you so much Brittany for joining us today. That was just really, really interesting. I'm definitely going to be using all of those self-massage techniques and trying that out, that tea. And yeah, thank you everyone so much for joining us. That was really great. So next, in 2 weeks' time, we have got our Wealth Thrivherclass with Lee Skodal. And this is another extraordinary expert. And she's got a company called Mindful Wealth, where she's going to take us through some exercises to understand our relationship with money, which I think is fascinating. We're going to be doing some exercises with her, and what we understand is our patterns and why we spend in the way we do. So if you're interested in that, I've just put the link there in the chat as well. And then lastly, of the month, we're partnering with Susan Rauer, who's an executive life coach, and she's going to be teaching us how to speak up when it really counts. I know I've been in situations when you're in a big meeting with people, or you're suddenly just put on the spot and someone's asked you a question, whether it's your boss, your manager, and the words just don't come. So she's going to be empowering us and teaching us little methods and things that we can do to make sure we don't get caught out, which is really was really great. And also just to let you know that you can become a member. I know we've got a few members here tonight, so that's brilliant. It's lovely to have you all on board. If you become a member, you can get all 3 Thriver classes for the price of one. So it's under $10 or under £6 for a class. When you get experts like tonight with Brittany, and you learn so many great skills to empower your wellness, wealth and work, it's really great. So yeah, thank you so much again, Brittany, for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you, Julia, for having me.
And have a brilliant evening, or have a brilliant day, ladies, and I hope to see you very soon.